here once again. It's good to see you as always. Welcome. I'm Tekir Thorkelson, your host. And, well, we'd like to invite you to subscribe, carry on watching, and please feel free to leave a comment and follow us on Twitter. Now, in the north, well, there's a tradition that many still practice to this day of holding Mass on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. And it should be said that back in the pagan days, during the great feast of Yule, that in fact, in the middle of winter, well, New Year's Day was in fact what's now Christmas Day. However, after the conversion to Christianity, as you know, New Year's Day is a week after Christmas Day. And the story begins the night before, the evening of New Year's Eve. And, well, it starts in the household of a woman, a widow, who was well liked in her home village, although she was known for being rather forgetful. Now, she was a keen churchgoer, and she'd decided, since it was a Saturday night, that she wanted to get up in very good time to go and attend the service in the morning. And therefore, she'd gone to bed, particularly early, and the lamp that she'd used to light her way, well, she'd forgotten to refill it with tallow. And as a result, when she went to bed and fell asleep, it burned low and was extinguished very quickly indeed. Now, not long after, the woman woke up to find herself in complete darkness, and quite forgetting that she'd neglected to refill her lamp, she thought it had burned all the way through and it was the next morning. And although it was dark outside, well, she thought nothing of that, because after all, it was midwinter. And therefore, she got herself ready, put on her best dress, and set off for church. In fact, she had no idea that the hour was still short of midnight. So she arrived at the church, thinking that it was New Year's morning. But when she opened the door, well, she found there was already a congregation inside, seated along the wooden pews. And, well, she found a place, sat down, and began to warm herself up, for after all it was freezing cold outside. And she began to look around her for some familiar faces, but she couldn't find any. The people she normally sat next to simply weren't there. Instead, well, there were all kinds of people, and well, in one or two cases, she knew that she knew them from somewhere, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it. And then a priest, he began to speak, and the priest himself, well, she couldn't place him for a while. It certainly wasn't the usual priest, but then finally, after several minutes, it came to her. This was old Asmund's son, and he died, a few years before, when the cart he was riding had fallen through some ice on a frozen lake. And she looked about her. Well, finally, she started to remember who some of the other worshippers were. And then, just behind her, she noticed a lady who'd lived in the house next door for many long years. Yeah, Olaf's dot here. Thora, that was it. Thora, well, of course she'd been dead. She dropped dead when she was spinning. Ooh, 5 summers ago now. Thora, oh, she looked at the woman with sad, dead eyes, and she said, "Best leave here now, because on the stroke of midnight, when the doors will close, you'll never leave again." And the woman took her advice. She wasted no time in hurrying out, and just as she was exiting those portals, the doors slammed shut and very nearly crushed her heel. However, she lived to tell the tale, which we have reached the end of, and therefore I'd like to thank you all for listening, and once more, Happy New Year to you all. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Thank you.